Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Welcome in. It is Woodward Nights, baby, with Booner and Broder. Appreciate all of you guys with us today on the Woodward Sports Network. This is a beautiful, Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Beautiful Tuesday. Sorry, the Thanksgiving, all these festivities, the game being in 2 days. We just got done with Victory Monday yesterday. Everything has just been off for me this week. I don't know about that for you guys. Just feels like a really weird week, especially when you get 2 Lions games in 5 days?
Yeah,
basically.
Basically 4, but call it 5.
5, 4, yeah. I mean, it's nuts. Right, we have a packed show as always. I feel like I say that every show, and we do. Great show coming in today. We're talking about the Bears. We're closing the door on that matchup. We're talking Packers. Aiden Hutchinson. You guys saw the me and Easy situation.
Beef.
The little beef.
Packing beef.
It has been solved. I came with some receipts. We both agreed. We came to the middle and we said, hey, fair enough. With two unnecessary shots that happened.
Beef.
So that happened. But we got a packed show. We've got Jalen in the house as always, TDing. We've got the squad, Jalen. We got Nick in the sound booth. We've got the full squad here today.
Oh, it has been a weird week. It's kind of, you're trying to close the book on one game. Look ahead to the Packer game. We're coming, though. Let's go. 9-2, baby. Chiefs let us down last night, but you know what? We just got to handle our business. We'll be just fine.
Handle it.
All right. That's the first thing I want to talk about.
There's also a big game this weekend, too. So we get to replace the Sunday football with a really big Saturday game.
We do. It's going to be weird. I don't like these Thursdays games where I guess it's nice on Sunday. As long as there's a Lions win on Sunday, you can kind of enjoy a full Sunday without any stress. If it's a loss, I'm gonna be like, I don't know about this Sunday.
Yeah, it was inspired by Eduardo O'Neill in the chat. Said, I love and hate Thursday games. We get the game ASAP. And then again, I'm sad because we have to wait 10 days to play again. It's a stretch. It's a long stretch.
But, I mean, we do get Saturday. Michigan, Ohio State. We get the game, which is always a good week. Okay, let's do an update real quick.
Update.
The path update. The Booner path update. We hit a little bit of a, what are those things called in the road? Pothole?
Yeah, a little
pothole yesterday.
Little speed hump.
Yeah, no big deal at all. The Chiefs blew an absolute terrible game where they had, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 turnovers. I don't know how many it was. Every time they got in the red zone, it felt like they couldn't finish. Just everything went wrong with this Chiefs team, and I made sure I let that be known in my power rankings, kind of looking ahead.
Wow.
Yes, you don't go out there and play like that and expect to be one of the top teams in the NFL. I saw today some people had them really high up in their power rankings, and I know they played the best team in the NFL. But they shot themselves in the foot. How many times? 4 or 5 times?
Minimum. They might have 4 or 5 missed catch or drop balls plus a couple turnovers.
Yeah. Although the Marcus Valdes-Scantling, that one was ridiculous. Right in his hand. He's dropped 6 passes. He leads the NFL in drop passes.
He's been like that forever, though.
It's crazy. I cannot believe what happened yesterday. So I don't know.
It's right there. It's right there in the end zone. It was over. And that's a big game for the Lions.
I think I could have caught that.
You could have, Booner.
I would have caught that.
Booner, you got hands.
I do. Throw something at me. See?
How about that? Would you look at that? Just look at it.
Come on. It just makes me mad though because the pass, obviously, if you look at the Eagles' schedule, which one of our segments today is kind of talking about this 1 seed, if there's still a chance. Looking at it, the Eagles have to lose at least 1 or 2 of their next 3 or 4 games. They have to, or the Lions will not get the 1 seed. And obviously, the path it's not over. The path is not over if you don't get the 1 seed. You're still on track, but obviously you're taking the nice path there.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with it right now. The Chiefs kind of screwed them. The Eagles have won back-to-back games, Broder. 1 possession games. It feels like versus the Cowboys and the Chiefs, and they should have lost both. It felt like.
Well, that's what we said yesterday. Good teams they win the ugly games. They get it done when they need to. Granted, the Cowboys and the Chiefs are better than the Bears, but ugly games happen. That's what the NFL is all about. That's why the Eagles are in first place right now. They're paving their destiny. They're mowing their path because it might actually be 3 games that they need to lose for the Lions to sneak ahead with this new tiebreaker format.
Yeah, actually, no, I was looking at that, though, too. Actually, well, let's talk about that when we get to the one-seed stuff, because the tiebreaker stuff, I listened to Rich Eisen as well, and he kind of broke it down, but that was before yesterday's game. But, I mean, if you just look at the games, that similarities, like...
Eagles have won all the games, all the common opponents.
But they have a couple common opponents left, which is good for the Lions.
Yeah.
And I think if the Lions kind of win out, there's a chance that can...
It makes that Cowboys game huge. Even if the Lions have already clinched a playoff berth, clinched the North, like... That's going to be a big game.
Now,
that's going to be a big one.
We're talking contenders, kind of looking at like Super Bowl contenders, all of that. I don't know if you saw Shaq Leonard got released from the Colts today.
I did.
Do you think that a Super Bowl caliber team picks him up, like the Eagles or like the Cowboys?
So I haven't had time to look at the money yet, because if someone picks him up like through waivers, before he clears waivers, it's going to cost him $6.1 million
for the rest of the year.
For the rest of the year, and I think it locks him into his contract next year,
which is like 16, 17, 18.
And I think it's at least a $6 million, like another guarantee. So I don't know. It depends what the money looks like for those teams. Ideally, for any team, he passes through waivers and they're able to sign him to a more team-friendly contract, but.
First thing, especially with guys like that, especially like with the Lions when they didn't do much in the trade deadline, you think like in the Detroit Lions do that, but you really don't need a linebacker on this team right now.
No.
I don't know
you
if
need
you can
a straight edge or defensive tackle or cornerback.
I was thinking, I was trying to think of a way maybe if they picked them up, like where if there was like move someone to an edge. I don't know.
He can rush the passer, like he's good. There's got to be something. Actually, I was chatting with Freddie Felt 313. He's from Indy, from Pontiac, but lives in Indy, and he seemed to think it was just all the Colts organization. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. They're moving on from him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever you see a good player just released kind of out of the blue, and the Colts aren't really out of it. They might not be playing for much, but I don't know. I feel like something might be going on.
I think there was. I don't know. I'm interested to see what the waivers, because like you said, the money. I'm sure every single GM in the NFL knows exactly what is happening with him. So if he doesn't get picked up, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I'd almost rather have Sue than Shaq.
Yes. Right now, yeah. For this year, yeah. You have a linebacker. Like, I don't know. He can rush the passer, yes, but that's not his thing. So I just don't see that
Freddie
happening.
Felt says he can take the meat missile's place. That's quite the statement, Freddie.
Freddie, come on.
Freddie, number 18.
Freddie, come on. All right, brother.
Yes.
Before we get, you know what? Let's just do it now. Do you want to talk Ohio State, Michigan a little bit?
Sure.
Let's talk about it a little bit here, because obviously the game's not till Saturday. We'll talk about it Friday. We'll have a full segment or two on Michigan, Ohio State. Let's just kick off the week here. It is going to be, I think this might be the most anticipated Michigan, Ohio State game in my lifetime.
Maybe mine too.
I don't remember, like I know every year it's hyped up, things are happening. What's happening right now, you're two undefeated teams. We've had that last year.
Second and third ranked in the country.
But with everything on the back end, I just told you before the show here, there's this personal investigation or whatever, this PI firm called Third Day, and it's been coming out the last day or two, and it's Ryan Dave's brother, which was opened in 2021.
On third base?
Third day. Maybe that's why he actually
born
did do
on
it.
third base.
That might be why he
What
did
does that mean, by the way? I think I missed.
Like he just got the program already made, and like all the recruits, everything. So basically,
he was born
on third base,
almost all the way to home. Got you. It wasn't like he can't make it to home plate. Like he can't.
No,
he can't put out.
It was like, hey, you just got placed on third base. You didn't have to go around the bases.
Clown.
You got everything handed to you on a gold platter.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Fortunately, that's what. If he loses, Urban Meyer might just be moving right back into his old office.
Yeah.
I have a weird suspicion that's the only reason he hasn't accepted the Michigan State job yet.
Really?
He's waiting for this game.
I do think if they lose
Total
this game,
speculation, by the way.
And Ryan Armani spoke about it, and that was their reel today, was if they lose this game, Ryan Day will be fired. And we actually talked about it last week. We were like on the way home from the game, on his way back to Ohio in Columbus, he will get a phone call and say, hey, we're done. Cutting ties, you're done. You had your chance. You couldn't beat Michigan 3 years in a row. You're completely over. So I do think that happens. Some people were commenting that, and Ryan's real. Some people were commenting that they were like, this is a bad take. This is a bad. No, that is the most factual take of the week, I think.
Yeah, it might be.
If he loses, he's gone.
I think so. And if not because Ohio State forces him out, there might. Again, this is conspiracy theory at its finest, but this agreement between Michigan and the Big Ten for them to drop their investigation. Someone has shit on Ryan Day, and I know the Big Ten doesn't want to be dragged through the mud. I know that they want all of this closed as soon as possible. I know the NCAA still got to investigate, but there's so much we don't know, and I feel like Ryan Day is at least a part of it, even not taking Michigan out of it. Just Ryan Day's involved in some shit.
Yeah.
And
Detroit Dabber, and shout out Dabber. He's always commenting on Michigan stuff. But he said, Booner, are you still worried about who started the investigation, not the fact you were cheating? Detroit Dabber, I will explain this to my death to so many different people, Michigan State fans, Ohio State, everyone. Every single football team and program cheats up to an extent. I'm not saying the Michigan Wolverines didn't cheat.
Yeah.
But Ryan Day, someone who probably cheats himself and finds different ways and gray areas and rules, if he is the one that started the investigation, he deserves everything that should go at him. Because every single program probably does it. Every program bends the rules. Every program lives in the gray area of the rules. He was just...
I cheated every time I pitched.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I would go out before every inning. I would go... So you know on a pickoff move, a lefty, like you're facing first base, so you can actually just you lift your leg up and you throw it to first base. You get 45 degrees where your foot, your knee has to angle. If you go further than that, it's a balk.
Yeah.
So I would go out and I would like kick a hole in the ground, like where I would make a big footprint in the mound at 45 degrees. So when I actually did it, I would throw and I'd go 65, 70 degrees, push that limit. But if there's ever like a confusion, I would go to the umpire and say, look, like here's my footprint, like 45 degrees. And I don't think I ever actually interact, like it never came to that, but that's what I would do to just try to gain an edge.
You're a cheater.
Yeah. I've had big league coaches teach me how to use rosin and suntan lotion to get your hands a little stickier to throw curveballs and stuff.
Hey, welcome to a high level sports. People do it. There's gray areas. Yes, Michigan might have done something. Every school does it. Ryan Day is just that big of a loser that he had to go out there and do something so he doesn't lose his job. Hey, I feel that.
And you know what? I'll bring Michigan State to the party. I'll bring Michigan. They're talking about injuries. You know what Michigan was doing, like. You're worried about player safety. What's different about how they got signs versus anyone else dealing? Like the injury factor is total bullshit.
Man. It's just the way they did it. Yeah, you're a beat reporter. You can't talk like that. Let's talk about the game though. Just who do you think's gonna like? I don't want to do early predictions. I guess we can a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. After the Maryland game last week, I'm a little nervous. I text you guys during the game. I actually I text Brady and Flannel. I text a bunch of people like in the first quarter right away. I was like, hey. There's a 0 chance this Michigan team goes and wins a national championship and beats Ohio State if they're playing like they are right now in that whole game versus Maryland. There's no chance that they just run, that they're going to have a chance to win a national championship, a chance to beat Ohio. 0 chance, Broder. There's no chance at all. That's what I am a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie about Saturday.
I think it's going to be
a lot of nerves.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout one way or the other. I think... it's going to come down to a touchdown, within 7 points. J.J. McCarthy has to play better through the air, and I do worry without Jim Harbaugh. I think this is maybe the most important part of losing Jim Harbaugh. It's that quarterback head coach relationship, and Jim Harbaugh is more than a head coach to J.J. McCarthy. He's sort of like that. I mean, the QB whisperer, whether he's actually been a QB whisperer or not, that's another argument. J.J. McCarthy and him have a really good relationship, and there's something about that comfort level of having him on the sideline and how he, sees the quarterback position. It's a little different than Sharon Moore, who's an offensive lineman and wants to run the ball. I have no problem with Sharon Moore. But I do think J.J. McCarthy has to throw the ball better through there.
He does, and I think there is something to say about like the last 2 or 3 games, the way they've been playing, that J.J. has gotten out of a rhythm, and I think that is an actual fact to where when you're running, you ask him to pass and throw a 40-yard ball right on the dot. It's like, yes, he can do that, but you're putting your quarterback in not great positions. At halftime of the game, Urban Meyer came out and basically was like, listen, I've never done this. He even said, he was like, I've never done this with any of my quarterbacks at Ohio State. I've always, like, no matter if we're playing a bad team, if we're up by 30, whatever it is, we're always going to keep consistent on what we're doing with these quarterbacks, because once you take them out of the rhythm, once you end them, once you say, hey, we're going to go away from you, that's when things start to fall apart a little bit. And that's what it feels like with JJ. It's Sharon ran it for 32 straight times.
I love it.
And as soon as that happened, it's great because you have the running game, you have the offensive line. But when you want to, like, the difference from last year to this year is last year, you lost to TCU, and the year before you lost to Georgia because you didn't have that extended offense. You didn't, you did, but you didn't do it all year. So when you had to go up against a great defense or a great team, you weren't able to compete as an SEC school does.
On the money.
And then this year, it's like, okay, heading into this Ohio State game, yes, you might be able to beat them in the run game, but once you get to the college football playoffs, all of a sudden you're just going to say, hey, JJ, turn it on. When he was turned on for, 5-6 games this year. Pause. But for 5-6 games this year. But it's like you just took him off of his thing for 3 games. Yeah. And that's what I'm worried about. And that's where my kind of focus goes to, where it's like, and JJ, and someone in the chat here, who was it? Oh, I need to kind of call this person out a little bit.
Booner, while you're
my guy. Nicholas Earl.
You got it right now.
Yeah, Nicholas Earl said McCarty ain't it. He's not a first-round pick. I disagree. He's still a first-round talent. He still has the arm to do it. If you watch him, just watch his game. Yes, he's missed passes. Yes, he's missed plays, and he hasn't been great the last 3 weeks. But 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, everyone was, he's first round. He's a Heisman. He has the talent. He still has the arm. He still has the legs. It's just about putting him in the right positions. Once you get in the NFL, you have all those weapons around you. You have offensive coordinators that are literally just like a guy like Ben Johnson. Ooh. You have these people to put you in the right positions. He has the talent to do it. It's not about that. Right now, they're just not putting him in the right positions to be successful.
And most people think he's not a first rounder say, he's probably a second rounder. But teams who would pick him in the second, they'll want to take him at the end of the first round. They'll want to take him. If he goes out this year, someone will probably want him to sit. But him going to a good team at the end of the first round, getting that 5th-year option on his rookie contract, I think that puts someone like him in the best possible situation he could ask for, sitting behind somebody he can learn from.
Nicholas Earl, who said he was in the Heisman? The sports book. He was the favorite for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know what, let's not act Nicholas, great listener.
Yeah, he was striding for a while, especially against a lot of those bad Big Ten teams. But I think the difference in this game is he's going to have to handle that adversity without Jim Harbaugh there. And that's where it's going to come down to J.J. McCarthy being the top alpha on this team and in this game to say, hey, I'm the leader of this team. I need to put this team on my goddamn back, because there will be adversity in this game where he's going to have to make those throws. You can't miss Cornelius Johnson open across the middle on the 40-yard touchdown like he did at Maryland. It's going to need to be all on JJ's hands when it comes down to it. He doesn't have his coach there to lead him through it. It's all on JJ's hands at this point. Let's see if he can pull through.
Before we go to break, gotta give a little rest in peace to Willie Hernandez, Guillermo Willie Hernandez, pitcher in a southpaw, lefty, who pitched for the Tigers, pitching the big leagues for 13 years. Southpaw. He won the 1984. He won the American League MVP as a pitcher, the Cy Young Award as a pitcher, and the World Series with the Tigers. Willie Hernandez, you're a legend. Had to say that. Let's go to break. You gotta tell them about Woodward and Maine.
Woodward and Maine, make sure you guys tune in. That is Tuesdays and Sundays. Tuesdays 7 to 8 a.m. and Sundays 8 to 9 a.m. Hosted by Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Detroit legend Terry Foster. For all of your guys' insider Lions information, make sure you guys tune in on the Woodward Sports YouTube network.
Go to Big Boy, Nick. Big Boy, tell him about the Big Boy.
Tell them about the Big Boy. Well, winter time in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort chicken bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack or the Santa Fe garden. Also, new apple pie hotcakes are there, and they're too good to miss. Top it all off with a new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and Woodward WoodwardSports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
All right, Outdoor Equipment Company, let's talk about it. It is the official equipment provider of the Woodward Sports Network. It is Michigan-grown, family-owned. They have everything. Bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co., they have it all. Don't want to miss out. Buy it, rent it, 0% financing, delivery right to your doorstep. Go over, look at this right above me, OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Let's go.
All right, welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate everyone that's locked in with us here tonight. Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't. Let's get up to 50 here. I don't know what the heavies we're at. I know we chase the heavies down some days. We're chasing them down today. We're going for that. After the beef with me and Easy today. That is solved now.
Steak. Did you say steak?
It is solved. I heard him talk about it a little bit on the heavyweights. May have told it the wrong way. They were saying, Booner's a little too emotional. There was no emotions on my end involved.
You have the floor. If you have anything to say, this is the moment.
No, I don't want to start the beat because we mended everything, and he knows that too. We talked about it, but there was no emotions on my end. It was just, hey, if I'm allowed to, I called him a flip flopper, and he didn't like that. But I went back and found different clips that kind of proved that to be right. So it was like, I'm just letting you guys, it was this thing that yesterday that I talk about all the time with the path. Is I just don't like when lines are good, people want to hop on the path. When the lines are bad, they want to hop off. Or if there's like, the trade deadline, we're off. Or you struggle a little bit, you're off. That was all that my issue was. Everything is settled, though. We do have the Aiden Hutchinson top 10 thing. I told Easy to throw his thing in there, so we can kind of look at the top 10 list. I do have a statement to make in regards to it. Sweet. Which is actually a positive for him. So let's get into it. Bears, Lions, though. Let's close this chapter here. Let's talk about it real quick. One of the biggest questions I have with this, and I want to get the chat's reaction to it as well and see where they're at. But Broder,
Booner,
coming out of this game, now you're heading into the Packers game. After that comeback, I want to know if it's more of if we're taking it out more of a positive note that we were able to see the Detroit Lions down that bad and fight through adversity and go and win that football game somehow, some way, and got the job done. Or if it's on the other side to where it's like, hey, this football team's supposed to be a contender. They're supposed to be a top 5 team. They're not supposed to get down like that to those teams. Where are you at on that? Like, are you leaving this game with a positive note? Like, okay. And I also, too, I'm curious. Someone should ask Dan that question. That's a great question to ask in a press conference.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to see how he thinks about that. Like, hey, it's kind of like that. Are you throwing the tape away and burying it, or are you guys going to learn from it? It's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's a good question. I sense he's optimistic, but I am. I'm just I'm taking the good from it. I know the Bears haven't had a good season. They played all right against the Lions. They got Justin Fields back, and there were a lot of people calling for Fields as an MVP candidate at the beginning of the season. Whether you believe that or not, he's got some skills. He can run. He's a decent thrower. They beat us both ways. They beat the Lions at times both ways with his legs and through the air. So my biggest takeaway just from that game, you can't turn the ball over. Definitely not 3 times or 4 times. Like, if you're going to do it, like in the Packers game, the first Thursday night football game of the year, Jared Goff threw an interception. I think it was in the first quarter. It was in the first half. He came right back, led a touchdown drive the very next drive. And I don't think they had a turnover for the rest of the game. So no turnovers. And you know how the Bears had, just over 40 minutes time of possession? The Lions had just under 20. Like, that needs to be reversed. Or the Lions need to at least get to 30 minutes time of possession, 50-50, which they have most every game this year except for the ones they lost.
Yeah, and I'm gonna look at it like this, because if you're looking at all the contenders, I'm gonna take this game away as a positive. That's where I'm at with it, brother. I really don't care. Like, I get you went down, but like this game right here, I just pulled up the 49ers. a couple weeks ago when they played the Vikings. In the third quarter, they were down 19-7. They were down 12 points in the third quarter, right? Detroit Lions were down 12 points with 4 minutes to go and pulled the win out. The 49ers were down 19-7 with about 7 minutes left of the third quarter. This is a game that the 49ers probably were favored by 7 points, 8 points. They went in as favorites. They went in as probably the number 1, number 2 team in football, and they laid an egg to the Vikings.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of look at the Lions. They laid an egg. The thing is the 49ers laid an egg. They lost the game 22-17. It's the same thing like the Chiefs.
Lions laid an egg, but they came back and they got that dub.
Won. And typically I would say, maybe that's it's an old Lions thing to where it's like, you're down and you find a way just to come back and win. That game just felt like a different Lions comeback.
Yeah.
I spoke about it yesterday a little bit, but it was just everything with it. Like, you threw 3 interceptions. You had a fumble. Everything went wrong, everything. And they were like, hey, we don't care. Like, we're going to go out. They still had a chance to win the football game.
Yeah, that last 4 minutes it looked as if they had all the confidence in the world, as if the game was just starting and they had just come off that Chargers victory, scoring 41. I think they got to come out and have a hot first half against the Packers, especially on Thanksgiving at Ford Field. They're coming to town. It's a short week for both teams. The Packers, and we're going to get into it a little bit, Packers, they got some injuries. They're dealing with some injuries. They're banged up. I don't know who is officially going to be out, but a lot of key players are going to be out. That run game is very depleted. So this is another one. If we can get to Jordan Love, I almost just said Jared Goff, they can get some pressure to Jordan Love. It's going to be a day.
There we go.
It'll be a feast.
Yeah, no, it will. And when we get to the Packers thing too, if you got when you guys see this, the Packers injury list is like the Lions in week 3 or week 4. It is probably the biggest in the NFL. It is like a full one-pager.
Boone, you know the odds of the Thursday game? Shift God was asking, and I can look them up, but I just didn't know if you already knew.
I think they're 7.5 point favorites, I believe. I could double check that, but I believe it's 7.5.
We'll check it for you, Shift God.
What's the biggest thing though? Kind of closing the chapter for this Bears game. Outside of Jared Goff and the turnovers, I want to take that away.
Okay.
Biggest thing the Lions need to address going forward into this Thursday game. Outside of the turnovers. I feel like the turnovers, and the reason I say outside of that, I just feel like those turnovers, like 2 of them, like the fumble, obviously like you're returning, like that's preventable. The 2 passes that Jared Goff had, 2 of them really, to me, like
he would have 3 regardless.
Yeah, like that was going to happen. It's just the way the game went. Ball got tipped and Sam Laporta got bounced off of his route. So I don't know. What is the?
We got some good ones already. Pass rush, the third quarter.
I think that's where I'm going to go with this one to start, boys. If you don't mind, it's the pass rush. It's the opposite. That was funny.
No, we love you.
Oh my God.
No, keep going.
The energy. Let's go, Nick.
It's got to be that defensive end. It's the other side. That's where you got to go with it. When it comes down to our defense, we did not look great. Hutch obviously came in the big situation, but it has to be that other end stepping up. It's going to be like a broken record at this point. Until we see it happen, we're going to hope and, pray that this thing gets better. That's what we want to see from a defense.
Yeah, and I think the untimely penalties, I think they got to get rid of those. I mean, I actually don't know the where they rank in terms of penalties on the game, but in this last game, their penalties that they got, and I'm thinking about Brian Branch. I'm thinking about it was Will Harris. It was the week before, right? Cam Sutton the week before a couple times. Like, these penalties are coming at inopportune times, whether it's 3rd and long, the Branch penalties, they gave him an automatic first down, or Cam Sutton, Will Harris in the end zone on 3rd and 1, on 2nd and, goal, down at the goal line. So they got to clean that up. Those are the things that give a young team energy. This offense for the Packers, the whole team is young, especially the offense. If they get some energy there, if they get takeaways, or if they can, if they can mask some of their mistakes because of Lions penalties, it'll be a long day for the Lions.
You know what I'm going to go again here this week before we go to break? I want to go red zone again. They did finish some drives this week. The St. Brown touchdown, the Jama one, they finished that one. Like, they finished a lot of drives, it felt like. I want to see them kind of do that going forward. And on the same time, when you're in the red zone on defense, you have to find a way to – and this comes back to the defensive line and all that. You have to find a way to get sacks and push them back.
You do.
That's a part of the football game. Like, yes, you're not going to be perfect. They're going to get field goals when they're at the 30, 35. But if there's a way in the red zone, you can start that, because that's what good teams do. The 49ers, that's what they do. You saw it yesterday. The Eagles, that's what they did. The Chiefs did it yesterday versus the Eagles. They sacked Jalen Hurts, put him on a field goal range a few times. And it happened both ways, yes. And it's huge. It takes, like, it stops an offense and takes momentum out of an offense. This Packers team is someone you can do it to. Well, we're going to get into it in a couple segments, the Packers-Lions, but that's exactly, Broder. They had 5 sacks last time versus them. Yeah. You can do it here, kind of get warmed up a little bit. I think this might have been actually the game before that this defensive line started heating up a little bit once they got 5 in that game. I could be wrong.
This was week 4, so they had, was it Atlanta the week before? They had 5 or 6 on Desmond Ridder.
And I think they just started kind of heating up. So I think a guy like Jordan Love is a guy to where, okay, well, let's step up. Let's get this thing done.
Yeah, tell them about Lions post game.
Before I tell you guys about that, that is Maz and Stick, directly after every single Lions game. It is the Woodward Sports Lions post-game show. Make sure you guys tune in as soon as the games are over. Kool-Aid sipping celebrations, breakdowns of the games. They take callers. They do everything you need to lock in after a game and get all of your information. That is on the Woodward Sports YouTube network. Make sure you guys check that out.
We need some of those defensive players to buy some real estate in the Packers backfield. Know what I'm saying? So go to Mark White and Associates. They have a minute-by-minute listing agreement that allows you the freedom to cancel that listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty. So if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Just in time for football. Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you're missing out. So smooth. Find them today at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check us out online at www.canna.com.
Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all of you guys. The Flannel Sam.
That's my guy.
Let's go, Flannel. You know what, Flannel? You know what we're talking about in this segment as well?
Yeah.
Aiden Hutchinson. We're going into this Aiden Hutchinson talk. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Let's get up above 75 here by the end of this Aiden Hutchinson segment. All it is here, Broder, and I know the heavyweights did their segment and they got their top 10 list. I did get Easy to send us his, but just kind of want to break down this top 10 list. Want to see whether or not Aiden Hutchinson, if we feel like he's a top 10 player or edge rusher in the NFL right now. And I did have a statement to make in regards to this.
Send it, Boone.
Because this morning, and Broder, I might surprise you a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Okay.
Because this morning,
with new information comes the ability to change your mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I know I went at Easy a little bit saying, no, he is a top 10 edge rusher. For sure, he is. I thought about it through the day. I looked at stats. I looked at these lists. I'm going to change my mind with this.
Put him just outside?
I think he's outside the top 10. And this is where I kind of went to and I spoke with Easy after his show about it. And I think he kind of agreed on the same thing. And Broder, the reason is
you guys are so cute together, by the way.
Sorry,
continue.
The reason is, though, is the stats, they just aren't there. A top 10 player, like if you do go look at some of these players, some of these NFL edge rushers are putting up numbers. If you watch them in games, they're making plays. The thing with Hutch is he's been so inconsistent. And I think that's what it comes down to. Because what I was saying earlier is if you take Hutch's best games and you put them at the top and line them up with everyone else's best games, I say Hutch at that point is a top 10 player. From the plays that he makes, the interceptions, the strip sacks, the timely sacks that he has, the forced fumbles, everything he does, when you take those biggest games and put him on the stage with these other players like Micah Parsons and them, he is up there doing that. He's just not doing it on a nightly basis as some of these players are. And that's where I kind of came to grips with it. Was like his talent. If we did a power rankings of talent, Broder, I would say Aiden Hutchinson is right up there. He is top 10 talented defensive end in the NFL. He's in his second season. He's one of the best at what he does. Consistency-wise, stats-wise, we look at sacks. I don't see it.
Let me flip it for you real quick. So if you were starting a team today, would you take Hutch
in the top
5?
Maybe
if
not top
starting
5,
a team,
but top 10, yes.
like easily, right? You
if
take
we're
him
doing
over
an
Khalil
edge rusher
Mack.
draft,
Yeah,
I would take him because he's in year 2.
Right.
He's on a great contract, and his upside is just as big, if not better, as most of these guys' upsides. And that's just like that's a fact. And when I spoke with Easy, he agreed on that. He was like, yeah, no, that's right. But if we're really breaking down the numbers right now, like 4 weeks ago, he was a top 10 edge rusher. When he went on that little stretch and he had like 4.5 in like 3 weeks, top 10.
See, to me, he's the same player, and I get it.
I think he is. He is the same player. He's just not putting these games back to back to back together. He did it last year a little bit, and it was a rookie. But, some of these guys are doing it.
Yeah. If we're going by stats or going by, like, production this year, I'm not going to argue with anyone who has him outside the top 10. I think he is a top 10 edge rusher because I think he's as significant of a disruptor in the league. You're right. He's not finishing, but I think definitely of all the people on the Lions, but it would be pretty high. He'd be pretty high up on the list of offensive coordinators, the player that they have to game plan against on an opposing defense. Hutch is terrifying. Like, I know he hasn't been getting the sacks, but he's one of those guys. And talking about Motor, I feel like has been its oomph has been diminished. Like, guys just have motor, but that's such a big part of his game, and I think it's so important for him as he continues to get better. He's so relentless. Like, it's every single play. The Chicago Bears game, I don't agree to give him the game ball, but when you look at it, he finished. His motor literally was from the start to the finish. He made the very last play. He got a sack, his fumble, the safety on the very last play. There's something about him, and yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. I think he's 8, 9, 10.
Yep.
But
and I do want to rebuttal a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good debate.
To Easy's point too, and one of the clips that I did listen to him when I went back and looked. And Broder, this actually, I think you're going to agree a little bit with me on this. Is Easy is big on AG, correct? On Aaron Glenn, which I love Aaron Glenn. I'm so like I'll say it again. If the fire AG people need to leave because that is not a thing, but. Easy did a couple months, like about a month or two ago, when Aiden Hutchinson went on that 3-game streak to where he had 4.5, 5 sacks. In one of the shows that they did, Easy did say he gave Aaron Glenn credit instead of all Hutch. He says your defensive coordinators have to put you in the positions to be successful, which AG has done for Hutch after that 3-game stretch. I think there's a side of it to where you can say the same thing now if you're going to go that side of it to where it's like now. Maybe you need to find a way to get him back. You need to find, you know what I mean, to get him more involved. I don't know if it's recently, we haven't seen what we saw before. We haven't seen Hutch moving around on the defensive line.
He did a little bit in this last game. He started the first play of the game. He was rushing from the right side. And he was playing a little bit from the inside. He was bounced.
I feel like we haven't seen it as much as we did in that 3-game stretch.
You're probably right. Yeah,
because then it felt like every play he was picking his spots. I feel like he hasn't been picking his spots. Yeah. I just think that statement. It's like, okay, now we got to flip it a little bit. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's the production of other guys. Maybe you don't have the personnel. There's a lot of other factors to it. But I do think if you break down just pure talent on defensive ends right now in the NFL, Aiden Hutchinson is in the top 10 when you're breaking down talent.
Talent, yes.
And that's a fact. I don't think anyone can kind of
People can have their own
that.
opinions, but I agree with you. Talent-wise, he's definitely in the top 10. I'm not going to argue with you or anybody if they say he's just outside the top 10 in terms of his production. I am going to make an excuse for him, which I try to avoid, but I do think if he had help, he's a 10-sack guy. Easy. I think he'd be able to get home. It's just football-wise, there's not enough guys to block him if he's got more guys consistently helping him. Ali McNeil had a sack. That helped Aiden get his last one. He had a really good game against the Bears, but no one else has been helping out. Like, it's tough, and I hate to make that excuse. And I know we're just talking about this season, but, man, Hutch became the first player in NFL history to produce 15 sacks, 4 interceptions through the first 2 seasons.
I do have that graphic.
Of a player's. Oh, do you?
Yeah, we do have that. Jalen, you want to throw that up, the Lions graphic?
And while he's putting that up, he became the quickest player in NFL history to accumulate 15 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries, only needing 27 career games to do so. How about this? The previous record held by Hall of Fame linebacker Brian Urlacher, who needed 34 games, an extra 7 games to finish. The previous record by an NFL defensive lineman was Grant Weistrom. I believe he was on the Rams. He needed 66 games to get those totals. Hutch did in 27.
It's nuts. When I saw that after the game, I was shocked to see these, and that's where it's at. It's like, hey, he's
doing it differently.
The timetable he's at, he is doing he is elite at his position, and he's only in year 2. And then there's a Kayvon Thibodeau argument. And Jalen, if you want to throw up this top 10, the Easy's top 10, real quick.
Yeah, 1 second, I got you.
This is I want to kind of see you, Broder, what your thoughts are on this. I don't think it's that bad, but there are, like, Kayvon Thibodeau's on these top 10s, and that, to me, I know he has 10 sacks, 10 and a half.
That's where I struggle with the list. Like, how difficult it is to just do this list, because
a lot of guys with a lot of numbers.
10 out of 10 times, I'm taking Aiden Hutchinson over Kayvon Thibodeau.
Oh, 100%.
100 out of 100 times, but he has 10 sacks, so I get it. I mean,
but do you want to know another stat here? And I know a lot of people don't like PFF rankings, and I'm not, like, one to sit here and live and die by them.
Tell you a little something.
Aiden Hutchinson's 7th in PFF right now in edge rushers. Guess what Kayvon Thibodeau is? Just throw a guess.
In the 40s.
Keep going.
50s.
Keep going.
80s?
Keep going.
100.
Keep going.
He's literally triple digits.
120 something in PFF ranking.
But he has 10 sacks.
But he has 10 and a half sacks. But he's like 122nd. And I'm not sitting here like, oh, PFF is end all be all. But they do break down grades when it comes to run defense.
It paints a picture.
Pass rushing. They do break it down. And they're like, yes, it could be a fraud to a bit. But, like, if you're 122nd at your position in some rankings, yes, you can have 10 sacks all you want, 10 and a half sacks.
Whatever else you're doing.
You're on a 2-win team and you're ranked 120th in your grade in your position group. That's where it's like, okay, let's relax on Kayvon Thibodeau.
Does it make you want to, like, go back to the film? Like, when did he get these sacks? Like
yes.
At what point in the game, against what offensive lineman?
Oh, I have stats for you. 6 and a half of his sacks are versus the Commanders and the Jets and Zach Wilson.
Jets have a horrible offensive line.
He had 3 sacks versus the Jets. And he had 3 sacks total, 3.5 sacks total in 2 games versus the Commanders. So that right there might tell you
not to
2 or 3 games.
Not to give another excuse to Aiden, but just popped into my head. Almost every game we played this year, we faced a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's that much harder to bring him down. Sometimes, though, play devil's advocate on myself, a mobile quarterback, they try to scramble, and sacks can rack up when they're trying to escape the pocket. But nonetheless, it is harder to bring down Justin Fields than Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco.
And Chuck Brewer here, great point. He said assignments matter more than sacks. If he's giving up gap assignment and a big run goes through that lane because he's going for the sack, just saying.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's how you know Hutch isn't doing that, because the Detroit Lions have a top 5 pass or rush defense.
Yeah.
And he's holding his own. And that's why he is 7th in PFF in edge rushers, because his run grade is up there. His pass rush grade is up there. His overall grade is up there. So that's kind of where I take it. And I don't want to get into PFF too much, because yes,
it tells the story. Take it for what it is, but it tells the story. Like, yeah, sometimes we use it to support our argument. Sometimes we use it to not support our argument, but it does paint a picture. Like, you have 10 sacks, but you're ranked this low in your defense at your position. Maybe you're not the 125th worst edge rusher, but you're going to be in the 50s or 70s. Like you're in the middle of the pack at best.
The fact that he's 122nd in PFF and he's on easy, they put him on his top 10 list, to me is just But I think the rest of the list was fine. Like, I can't really take it. Like, people were trying to tell them to take Khalil Mack off. Khalil Mack has like 11. He has like 4 forced fumbles. He has like 12 or 14 like tackles for losses. Hutch only has 4. Like, there are stories to it, but I think like you got to give Khalil Mack some credit where it's due.
Yeah, it's all about how we paint the picture of how we're making these lists. Like, what we all do it differently. We all think about it differently. If there's no one way to create it, we all view Aiden Hutchinson a little differently.
We do.
Right. What you gonna do?
Hey, let's go to break.
Let's do it.
I think I amended that because this morning when I was on the Morning Woodward show, or not on the show, when you were on the show, and I was in the chat going at it with Easy, that was the biggest thing. Was Easy said that he's not a top 10 pass rusher in the NFL, and I disagreed. But then throughout the day, I did my homework a little bit, listened to a couple people, and can learn.
I'm not an eye guy, but I'm an eye test guy. Like
JMO.
Yeah.
Bro. That's how I look at it a little
bit. Let me tell you about Feldman. What are we doing when we come back? Just to let the people know. Lions-Packers, we're getting
Lions-Packers, baby.
Let's go, baby.
Breaking it down. The first breakdown of it. Maybe at the network.
Yeah. But to do it, before you do, if you need to get somewhere, you got to get a car, right? You got to lease or buy a car.
Shout out Feldman.
Feldman Automotive, since 1996, has provided a world-class car buying experience they call the Feldman Advantage. They got 18 locations, so there's got to be a Feldman dealership in your backyard at some point. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you, and Woodward Sports will be there every other Monday at Novi.
And if you want a great defense like Aiden Hutchinson and the Detroit Lions, go to Guardian Alarm. They have customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions that are specific to your needs. That is 24/7 professional monitoring. You can call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian Alarm team member, they will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology that is backed by people, where your safety and security deserves technology that has been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Make sure for a great defense, that number right above me, give it a call. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
For 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has been providing Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry-aged beef, Wagyu beef, easy Booner beef. All the beef is at Fairway Packing Company. You can get the Fairway experience for yourself today. Just visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online at fairwaypacking.com. Yeah!
Yeah, baby!
Yeah, baby.
Get the experience, the beef experience. All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. It is on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Me, myself, Booner, as always, Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter. We've got Jalen in the TD booth and Nick in the sound booth. As always, full squad today, baby.
It's all about the preparation for Ohio.
I'm going to keep saying I'm very nervous.
Did you see that press conference, by the way?
No. Oh, yes. Jim Harbaugh asked him about Ryan Day.
So do you respect Ryan Day? He goes,
it's all about the preparation.
It's all about the preparation for Ohio.
I watched that whole video, and I was just sitting there waiting for him to address Ryan Day. He just did not.
I think he's a Hall of Fame troll.
Oh,
Jim.
He is great
Jim is
at
the
what he does.
best troller of all time.
Great at what he does.
Yeah.
And recruiting, it's great.
Yeah.
I love Jim Harbaugh, man. I don't care.
Probably
I saw someone, Dan Dakich. He's like right there with the other
Screw Dan
Goodman.
Dakich.
He's there with
What
Goodman.
happened to him?
Goodman as well. Some of these college basketball guys. You guys know I was in the college basketball world for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these college basketball guys, losers. Goodman, tried to say something bad about Detroit and about the city. I don't know if you guys remember that when they announced the Final Four was coming.
Yeah,
I had messaged him about a year or two ago when I had my podcast and said, hey, I would love to have you on. And then he said that about Detroit. I had to message him and say, guess what? Booner's taking it away from you. You are not invited to Detroit, not invited on my show, not invited on anything that has to do with us here in Detroit. Goodman, whatever your first name. No.
What the fuck is he wearing?
Yeah, I don't know. He's a pirate.
Who is
I think that's Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Goodman.
Yeah, he's a loser.
him.
And Dockich, same
him.
thing. We're gonna actually let's do college basketball sometime this week.
Please.
Maybe Friday or something. Once a Pistons or we'll wait. Actually, let's do next Tuesday because Jalen will be back.
What a great day that is.
Because I could probably talk. I could do a whole show on college basketball. I could do a whole week of college basketball.
Prove it.
Okay, no, we have to talk. We have to go football. I'm sure there's some people who would love it. I can't wait till March Madness though. I promise I cannot wait.
I like my team like I like my mother's swimsuit. JMO Jackhammer, let's go.
Oh,
that was the Jim Harbaugh line. Taken from Ted Lasso.
Yeah, One Piece.
One Piece.
All right,
Yo.
if you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Let's get over. Are we at 75 yet? We are far off. Let's get to 75. Let's dive in, Broder. Lions Packers. The tradition continues. Thanksgiving.
It continues.
Do you have anything like when you do for the Lions there? I know this year is different for me. I guess last year was my first year being at Woodward in Thanksgiving, so I did the pregame and kind of stayed up here. Stick was up here, and
I would always watch it at home. Like I was never, my family and I, we never got tickets on Thanksgiving. I went one time. I was invited one time.
Congrats.
A couple years ago, 5-6 years ago, and it was a lot of fun.
I do have breaking news. Pregame show. It will be me and Darren McCarty.
No way.
We're doing the pregame show and we're doing the stream.
No.
Just us.
Just you two.
As of now, maybe Stick for the stream, but as of now, Jeff was supposed to do the pregame show. He got free tickets to the game with his dad.
Wow.
So it is me and four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty.
Booner, you should have some great content from the tailgates to use on that show from yours truly. Let's go, baby.
Are you going to be downtown getting
I'll be
content?
doing some stuff before I go link up with my family. So hopefully you'll have some good content over for you
Slack,
and D-Mac, baby.
Dude, how cool is that, by the way?
Oh, it's sick.
Spend the day with D-Mac.
D-Mac, I love D-Mac.
You don't even need a lawn and you get to hang out with him.
Yes, D-Mac's become one of the closer people to me here since we'll be doing the streams here. So shout out to D-Mac.
I might have to stick around with you guys. There's going to be insane traffic. I might just have to wait.
Well, the thing is, the game.
It's at 12:30.
We end as the game's at 12:30. We probably will end about 11:30. So you'll have an hour to get down there.
Yeah.
If you sit in the chair.
I'm trying to decide when's the
Stay,
best time to drive down
sit in the
there.
chair. I mean, we got room.
All right, we'll talk.
But last matchup, Packers, Detroit Lions versus Packers. Lions won 34-20, Broder, at Lambeau Field. The Detroit Lions last game got off to a 27-3 start. Halftime lead was 27-3. One of the more incredible things I think at the beginning, the first half, this is what I was kind of expecting with the Bears game, and obviously that didn't happen. I kind of want to see the same thing happen here versus the Packers. You're at home, Thanksgiving, prime time, the whole nation will be watching. I want them to do that again.
Yeah,
because the last time the nation was watching was a Thursday night football game, I'm pretty sure, and you went up, you did that.
Yes, yeah. This was kind of one of the early games that confirmed that the Lions are for real. They had beat the Chiefs, they lost to the Seahawks, they played really well and beat the Falcons, I believe, week 3, and then they went out and they laid the hammer on the Packers at Lambeau Field on Thursday night with everyone watching. 5 games after they knocked the Packers and Aaron Rodgers out of the playoff contention. So there was just a lot on the line, and they came out and played their best half of football I've seen in many, many years. Many moons.
And kind of getting into this next game here too, brother, I want to throw up, Jalen, if you can throw up the big injury report. It's like the NFL one, and it has all of the Packers and then the Lions.
Is there enough space?
This one this will give you guys an idea of what we're going to be looking at Thursday. The Packers, I know the heavyweights had an insider on, a Packers insider on, and he said the biggest worry with this team right now and the difference from last time is injuries. And this Packers team is beat up right now, and I think it's just time, the Detroit Lions team, this is not a game to where you can go in and you kind of do what you did with this Bears team, especially with this injury report here. So I'm gonna try and name this off here. I'm gonna look at my computer. This is a long list. Should I name them all, Broder?
No, name the players that stand out to you.
All right, Jair Alexander, limited practice, shoulder the last few days. Devondre Campbell, linebacker, neck, did not participate in practice. Kenny Clark, defensive lineman, limited participation. A.J. Dillon, and know this, too. You see a little, a couple more down. Aaron Jones did not practice. He most likely is out. I'm pretty sure he might be on the IR in a little bit. But A.J. Dillon as well, limited practice. Rashawn Gary, shoulder, limited and then full practice. Elton Jenkins, he was limited practice. Luke Musgrave, this is a big one here. The guy in the heavyweights.
He's been playing well.
Yes, guy in the heavyweights said that it was like an emergency. He had to go to the hospital after the game. He called the trainer and something within, I don't know what it was, but he called and was like, hey, maybe it was an abdomen or something, but he was like, hey, we have to go, I have to go get checked out. Had to do an emergency trip to the hospital. So that's something, it looks like abdomen on there. So that's something they're dealing with. Jaden Reed.
Jeez,
he wasn't listed on Monday, but on Tuesday it says limited, so he's limited with the chest. Darnell Savage, limited practice. Christian Watson, he did go full today, but yesterday limited. Emmanuel Wilson, that's their third running back, I think.
Yeah.
So they have...
They just signed... Was it Michael Carter?
Michael Carter did get cut the other day from the Jets.
James Robinson, the other former Jet.
Yeah.
Jaguars. Did he go to Jaguar? Oh, yeah, I'm thinking Jaguars.
Yeah.
But he signed... Anyways, they signed him yesterday or in the last couple days because Aaron Jones is very likely out. He might even be confirmed out, but there's a very little chance he plays. A.J. Dillon's banged up. Emmanuel Wilson, their third running back, he's banged up, not likely to play. So it's literally looking like it's going to be A.J. Dillon against the world.
Yeah, and that's kind of... I don't even know, like, is A.J. Dillon that scary? Like, if that's your weapon? The only person I'm truly worried about, I think, going into Thursday is Jaden Reed.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for them.
Yes, and if he plays last game, I think he had 40-plus rushing yards. He had 40 receiving yards. He might have. I know he for sure scored a touchdown. May have scored even two. But he's been kind of their guy. I feel like Jaden Reed. He's come into one there. That's the only weapon I think to me at this point with Aaron Jones out. Christian Watson maybe. Romeo Doubs last time I think he had like 90 yards. I don't know, Broder. I just feel like this should be a game where the Lions do dominate, kind of like they did last time.
They should.
And if they don't, then if they have a game like they had for Chicago, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to come in on Friday. We're going to have our show Friday night. I'm going to be very worried. I'm going to come out and say that.
Even with the dub?
The Booner path has a lot of potholes on it. Yes, even with the dub. I think this is a game you have to take care of business.
You do. Fortunately, their defense is their backbone. Actually, the best part of their defense this season has been their pass defense. They're ranked number 7th, only giving up about 193 yards per game. But 4 starters in the secondary, either on the IR or missed their last game. You talked about Jair Alexander. He's dinged up. They're defending. It's taken a hit. And if not for the Chargers drops, if not for it was Quentin Johnson dropped the ball, Keenan Allen, I think they had a couple more drops. That game from Justin Herbert and the Chargers, they're putting some points on the board against the Packers, who ended up beating them. So I think this is one of those things. We're healthy. The Lions are healthy. Their wide receiver crew is healthy. The running backs are healthy.
Yep.
If their best part of their defense, at least how they've been playing this year, is dinged up like they are, you got to attack that. You got to attack that.
You're a top 5 team going up against one of the worst teams in the NFL, in my opinion. A bottom tier, probably like 26 in power rankings, right? And they're not healthy at all.
No.
So you're sitting there as one of the best teams in the league, fully healthy. You better go take care of business. I look at it like this, Broder. Remember the 4-game stretch a couple weeks ago when the Lions were on that 4-game win streak and they won each game by 14 plus?
Yes.
That's what you do today or on Thursday.
Yeah.
You go start that streak again. Go win this game by 2 touchdowns.
That would get me bricked.
And then next week, you build off that. You do it versus Saints. Then you go back. You have a little comeback game versus the Bears. You kind of take that over. And then after that, you just keep build. I think, and I said this on Friday.
Use bricks to build.
Yes. Yeah, you do.
You do.
And I said this Friday. I was like, I think this Chicago game was going to be that one where you start building again and you get back on track after that Chargers game. I was like, I think this is the one where you get it by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Now this is the one, since you didn't do it last week.
We mentioned it yesterday. The Lions escaped that Bears game, an ugly game, a physical game, relatively healthy. Like, there were no major injuries. Jonah Jackson was still out. I know they're walking through, but he was technically out today. So they're healthy on a short week. The Packers, they're dinged up, and remember, it is a short week. So all these maybe little nagging injuries, the guys who maybe wouldn't miss a Sunday game, that's all It's all up in the air.
Phil said Green Bay beat the same team that we barely beat. First of all, the Lions dominated. I felt like the whole Chargers game, and it just came down to like their offense was just rolling.
A win's a win.
And you went up against a really a Justin Herbert who probably played his best game in the last 2 years, and you were on the road. When you're on the road in the NFL, a win is a win.
Yeah.
Packers were at home.
We beat the Chiefs, and the Chiefs lost to the Eagles. Like a win's a win. Screw it. But Booner, actually, do you have anything else?
I don't. I had a question. I'll save it for tomorrow, though.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot of Packers.
I had a question about Jared Goff, but I'm going to save that one for tomorrow.
Keep it in your bank.
I will. I'll keep that in my bank. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about the number 1 seed, the Eagles game last night. If there's still a chance for the Lions to get the 1 seed.
It's tougher. It's tougher, like a well-done steak.
We're going to break it down, though.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go over it.
Always.
We're going to do it. All right, I'm going to tell you guys about Planet Fitness first, though. It is the home of the judgment-free zone.
$10, baby.
Where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. Over at Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym that has a ton of equipment, full-body workouts in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of that for just $10 a month, no commitment. There are hundreds of Planet Fitnesses in the Metro Detroit area and thousands worldwide. Make sure you guys check that out over at Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Premier Pet Supply, when it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. That means going to Premier Pet Supply because they're hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food. They got the lowest prices, curbside home delivery, everything you could ask for to feed your little friends. Right there. Those little guys. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
All right, we are back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. It is the Woodward Sports Network. Beautiful Tuesday night. 2 more games until game day and Thanksgiving. Appreciate everyone for locking in with us on this Tuesday night. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Let's get to 75.
75, 250.
Slowly getting there. Make sure you guys hit that. We're trying to beat the heavyweights out today. I think they're probably over 100, so we got a little ways to go here. We're only halfway through, though.
I got something for you, Boone.
Yes, look at this. Beautiful thing. Look what I got on the break. Someone in the chat said it. Someone go get Booner Old English D hat. Guess what I had? Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
One of my first hats ever.
I don't want to know your name. I just want bang, bang, bang.
I don't know what that is, but let's go.
You don't remember that song? Maybe that's just my childhood.
Maybe. I think my head's getting bigger. I haven't worn this in a couple weeks. Or maybe like about a month. It's a little tight on my head. Can your head get bigger?
Yeah. Could be swollen. You have to check your brain out. Knock on wood.
I need to stretch my head out. Stretch the hat. I don't know how you do that.
Do you do neck stretches and stuff? Back when I played football, you hold your helmet.
Oh, we used to do that all the time. Yeah. I remember that.
Flexibility.
All right, let's say that #1 seed NFC. It is in officially. I don't want to say panic mode for the 1 seed, but I think it's like alert mode.
Because the path is the grass is rougher. It's a little slower path. Because that winning against the Chiefs, it's huge. They have a tough schedule, but being 1 game behind and needing likely to have a better record than not rely on the tiebreaker is huge. So we're going to need them to lose at least 2.
What happened basically, Broder, is we went from Woodward here, nice paved road, and we turned and we just hopped on the dirt road. That's basically what happened.
Like Jason Aldean.
Yes, like Jason Aldean.
Let him cook.
Yeah, I think this might have got. If your hat gets wet, does it get tighter?
Yeah,
I think it got wet.
Yeah, just get it wetter and then put it back on, like warm water. Put it back on.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Because right now, like when it's on the single cam here, it just looks like it's just squeezing my head.
The fibers are just contracting.
That's exactly what's happening. I don't like it, but I'll wear it for the people. But
for the people, by the people.
I'm giving a little time limit on this because the Booner path, it will be there no matter what, all the way. As long as the Lions are in the playoffs, the Booner path is alive. Alert as well. I have put in for merch for the path. The merch. There's been a conversation. We reached out to some people to try and get some merch made for it. So the path merch is coming out. Waiting to kind of see some designs from Easy there. But I think within the next 4 weeks, Broder, after week, what are we in, 12 right now? After week 15, week 16, you're going to know right away whether or not the Lions will get the 1 seed.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now, Eagles' remaining schedule, they play at home versus the Buffalo Bills, at home versus the 49ers, on the road at the Cowboys, on the road at the Seahawks, and then their last 3 games are Giants, Cardinals, Giants, all 3 wins. The next 4 weeks will determine whether or not the Detroit Lions get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
If the Eagles drop 1 or 2 of those games, and if they do drop 1, Broder, I think it has to be to the Cowboys. Or the Seahawks.
We're rooting extra hard for the Seahawks and the Cowboys because those are one team we lost against, so we need that. We need the Seahawks to not have that tiebreaker, or the Eagles to not have the tiebreaker with the Seahawks win. And they beat the Cowboys earlier in the season, but they have another one in Dallas. We need them to lose. We obviously play Dallas week 17, 16, 17,
that's
16. The second to last game of the year.
17.
Yeah,
because we play
18 by week. Well. You're right. 17, week 17.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. You have to. They have to. If they don't lose one of these next 4 games, or even 2 of these next 4 games, this whole Chiefs Cowboy thing the last 2 weeks really screwed the Lions over.
Yeah, like I was really banking on the Chiefs. Like that last night, the Chiefs getting a win at home against the Eagles.
Yeah.
So this screws everything up. It's not out of the. They can still do it. The Lions can still get that number 1 seed, especially with their schedules coming up. They got to take care of business. The only thing is they don't just control their destiny. They need the Eagles to lose to get that tiebreaker to get a worse record, so we jump ahead of them.
Yeah, and I don't think too. I was thinking about this last night when I was watching the Chiefs Eagles game. I don't think it's actually that big of it. Like I want the 1 seed, and I've been pretty I know Lucas at one time was saying, I'm not doing that. No,
Good.
I'm not saying I want the 2 seed. What I'm saying is, if they end up getting the 2 seed, because right now it is a little bit of a stretch, and you kind of need a little, not a miracle, but you need things to really work in your favor to get the 1. If you don't end up getting that 1 seed, Broder, I'm not going to sit here and count these Lions team out when it comes to going to playing in Philly, because that game yesterday versus Philly, I know it was raining, I know all the conditions, but they didn't look like a team that the Detroit Lions cannot go out there and
they're beatable.
beat.
They're beatable. They're a very, very good team, but they're beatable.
The NFL is beatable.
I don't think there's any team that's that much farther ahead in the NFL than anybody else. Like I feel like the 49ers. I'm more intimidated by them than the Eagles, but the Eagles are a very good team, very well coached. They got weapons everywhere. They're good. They're built similar to the Lions, or I should say the Lions are built similarly to the Eagles in the trenches. That offensive line, an offensive line can carry you through the playoffs, which is why I'm so optimistic about the Lions. The Eagles, they got a damn good offensive line.
They do. It's just not as good as the Lions, though.
No, and their backfield isn't as good.
Nope.
They do have Jalen Hurts, and I think that he's a weapon. I know a lot of people are actually, the gap between Hurts and Goff this year, it's not so far, but the type of things that Jalen Hurts can do behind that offensive line, they utilize a different Goff and Hurts. So they're not one to take lightly. They're 9-1 for a reason. They beat good teams.
Rude Boy Gang here said that's not the only game that makes them look beatable. I agree, because it's been the Eagles. I'll pull it up here real quick actually, because they've been in some games and yes, they've pulled these games out, but realistically, like, these are games that they could have lost. I said it last week. I'm thinking like, here, let's count it. Patriots, one possession game, 2 one-possession games, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. They've been in 8 one-possession games.
That tells a couple stories. That tells a big story.
One on the side, it's like, hey, they can finish. They can
win one possession games, and that's what you need to do in the playoffs.
Yes.
But it also means that there were some bad teams that they let in the game. They let hang around for too long. And if they're favored against the Lions, let the Lions hang around. That offense, we've seen what Jared Goff and that offense can do. You can never count the Lions out against any defense.
That's just so crazy to me. Like the Commanders game, the Jets that they lost to, Rams was like a 9-point game.
That Jets one's a crazy one.
Yeah, both Commanders games. The Commanders were in both games.
Commanders are sneaky good.
So if you're sitting there thinking the Lions can't go on the road and try and beat the
Lions
Eagles,
could beat anybody in the league.
The Commanders almost beat the Eagles twice. The Lions could do it.
Definitely.
Especially even on the road. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's over. No, it can't happen. The path is alive.
The path is alive.
It is there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the second seed, it's a decent consolation prize. I want the 1 seed. The 1 seed, anyone who says they would prefer to get the 2nd seed than get the 1 seed and get a bye, I still just can't. It boggles my mind how anyone could think that. The only explanation is there's SOL Lions fans where they just want to be able to say they won a playoff game in the record books, but I want to play in the second round of the playoffs, whether that's a win or a bye. I want the path to the Super Bowl to be as easy as possible.
He's like, that's me. But the thing is, like,
you want to have the 2nd seed?
Yeah, he did say that. He did.
Why?
I don't know, dude. Like,
well, that's not a good argument.
I just want to go to the playoffs, man.
You go to the playoffs with the 1 seed.
You need with the 1 seed.
No, like I don't want to play that. I want to play that first week. I want to play.
So I want to ask you this:
why?
If you get the 2 seed, you have to go to the Super Bowl. You have to play the 49ers and you have to play the Eagles. All right. Would you rather play both of them, or would you rather just play one of them?
Both.
Oh my gosh.
Nah.
No. There's no. Come on.
What? There's no.
That's like the argument to me that like once you like if you're like would you rather play both of these teams or just one of them to go to the Super Bowl? If someone says both of them, it might be lying to me.
They're crazy. It's crazy. I thought that debate was over that one day we had it. It was on the morning show.
It was.
Yeah, it was a Tuesday morning a couple weeks ago. But I heard it. I've heard it a couple times. Both on, I followed on Twitter. Someone posted something, and on the radio.
I saw it yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm like, how is this even a debate? No offense, Jalen. I love you. How is this even a debate? Like it is. It's just know. They want to get a play the easiest.
Lucas coming from the clouds. Lucas, you can have the 2, but guess what? If they get to the second round, you can't cheer after that.
Wow.
That's just a fact.
Come on, Lucas.
Lucas is wrong on that.
He is, and I love you, Lucas.
Lucas is a ball, but that's just one of the takes where he's wrong.
Yeah, this is one you just got to move on from. It's not right. It's just so you can say that you want to play. You have your first playoff game is easier. So you can say you can win. You win. I don't care about saying I can win a playoff game. I want to win a Super Bowl.
Same here. And when you're this close to one, you just go for it. And the thing is, it's like the way Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, and all of them have been. You're in the next couple of years, you're going to win a playoff game. It's inevitable. It's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years. Whether it's this year, next year, the year, like it will happen. Like. You're at the point already, like you're so far ahead of the process in the rebuild to where you're at the point to where you could sit there and say you can compete for the NFC. And when you get to we skipped a whole step. We skipped the playoff win because you're 8-2 and you're sitting there with one of the best rosters in the NFL.
It's a good step to skip.
You skipped the step, and I know it sucks because you want a playoff win. You skipped that step. Step is gone. I don't know. It's like you put a cheat code in GTA and you went from 1 stars to 5 stars. You're gone. Like you're there. You're a contender now. Welcome to the real world. So when you're in a contender, you want the 1 seed. That's what you're fighting for.
And without even knowing what teams, hypothetically, you get the 1 seed, 2 teams battle, number 2 and number 7. Whoever wins that game, I'd almost argue, and maybe it's not the case with the Eagles or the 49ers, but I'd argue that team after a first-round playoff game.
See, this is so stupid. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No.
Josh Dobbs round 1 or Dak Purdy, Hurts, or Geno round 2.
Dak Purdy, Hurts, Geno round 2.
You're going to have to
Anybody.
play Dobbs. If you play Dobbs the first round, you're going to have to play one of those guys in the second anyways. Would you rather play the worst team in the second round or the best team in the second round? Which one?
I'd rather be in the second round.
Exactly. And I would rather play, if you have a second round matchup, you want to play the worst team left in the board. You don't want to play the best team, which would be like the 49ers. You want to go play. I would rather play in the second weekend. I would rather play. I would rather play Dak. Who else did you say? I would rather play Dak or Geno in round 2. Because if you get the 1 seed or the 2 seed, you're guaranteed you're going up against the 49ers or the Eagles. Guaranteed. And then the next week, guess what? You have to go up against the one that you didn't play that week. Would you rather go up against Dak or Brock Purdy and the 49ers in round 2? That's the real question. I would rather get Dak in round 2 to go to the NFC Championship
I'll
game.
take whoever in round 2, just as long as you're in round 2. The goal is to win the playoff game, is to get to the second round. What winning the first round playoff game does, you know what you win for
Nothing.
winning that? You get to play in the second round.
Yeah, if you get the 1 seed, you get to play in the second round.
Yeah, so why not your whole season just account for that?
You're going to win a playoff game in the next 3 or 4 years anyways. What Dan and Aaron Glenn have done, the Detroit Lions will get a playoff win in the next 3 or 4 years, no matter what. But to say that you would rather have the 2 seed than a 1 seed is selfish. It's SOL. It's
SOL.
I don't know what else to say about it. It's just not like... Brother, it's flabbergasted. Like, I'm speechless.
I like that word.
Flabbergasted.
Harry Mack uses it
I am
often.
speechless to hear people that actually want the 2 seed instead of the 1. When you don't have to go up against the 49ers and the Eagles and you can just do 1 in the NFC Championship game at home, I'm taking that all day long. I want the Eagles to lose the next 3 games and the Lions to win out and take that 1 seed and go to the Super Bowl.
Dude. It's like, would you rather go 12-6 and miss the playoffs, or go 10-7 and make the playoffs? I'd rather make the playoffs. I want to get to the
would you
second
rather
seed.
have the 1 seed or... You know what this question is actually, Broder? Do you guys want to really know what this is? Would you rather have the 1 seed or a wild card?
Scared money don't make money. Give me the 1, boys. Come on. I already defended myself on this one.
So what you guys are all telling me that want the 2 seed, you want to play in a wild card game. You would rather be in a wild card game.
It's not about being realistic here.
That's what it is. It's a wild card game.
Yeah.
You're playing the wild card. They got rid of the wild card games and they made all the wild card games week 1. You're in a wild card game.
I don't get it. It's like you don't even have to talk about opponents. Who wants a harder path to this? Like, I don't get it.
Hey, we got Lucas real quick.
We'll get him inside. We got to go to break real quick.
Booner, tell him about.
That's what you just Lucas
Lions
get to sit on the
pregame.
phone since you want the 2 seed.
Make him sweat.
Lions pregame show and then Hamlin Pub. I'm going to tell you guys about the Lions pregame show. It is me, Jeff Ifrady, this week. It is actually me and Darren McCarty from this Sunday at 9:30 to 11:30. Woodward Sports Lions pregame show. Make sure you guys tune into that. We're going to be breaking down the full game, every single matchup. Maybe Broder will be here too for the show. That would be awesome if he was. So we get a lot of insider information, everything you need, injuries, anything you need. Make sure you guys tune into that from 9:30 to 11:30 this Sunday on the Woodward Sports YouTube page. And then, don't know if they're open on Thanksgiving, but the next day, Friday, go check out Hamlin Pub. Have you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular? We have just the place for you. Head over to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations. Experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday, game day specials available during all Michigan sports events and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place to be. Visit the location today and experience your new favorite pub for
Get
all
the
things
chicken!
sports.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
You have football on the brain. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this fall has been weird. It's been awesome, though. Fall is also the perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance, so shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you, so ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance when you dial 248-800-4177 or check them out at swissins.com.
All right, we are back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate every single one of you guys for locking in with us on this beautiful Tuesday night. 2 days until Thanksgiving, 2 days until the Detroit Lions play football again, and we get to eat some turkey, drink some Kool-Aid, have a few beers, seltzers, whatever you enjoy. 2 more days until Thanksgiving. Make sure if you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. We're almost to 75. We're looking to get to 100 before the end of the show here. That's what we need to get to. Let's get to 100.
Mac and cheese is not a Thanksgiving food.
Williams said, I'll have to go back and read Williams' comment. But mac and cheese is not, no, but I love it on Thanksgiving.
All right, fair.
I just love mac and cheese. All right, let's bring them in. We're talking about the Detroit Lions 1-2 seed thing. We just had it for one segment. We'll entertain Lucas for a little bit. At the end of the day, whatever Lucas says, whatever he does in this segment here, isn't going to sway me, Broder. It's not going to sway anyone on Lucas. So go ahead, Lucas. Hit us with whatever you have here, bud. I love you too, by the way.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, what's up, Booner just hit you with the bud.
No, me and Lucas call each other bud all the time.
All right, Bubba.
All right, Sport.
Hold on, let me light up this bowl real quick.
All right, Sport.
What the hell?
So
today, Junior.
Sorry, I thought this was regarding. This is where you guys got to understand where I'm coming from, okay? This is why when you're like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. This is the sense that it makes to me. And you guys can call me idiotic, but I want you guys to at least see where I'm coming from.
You're a ball knower.
Well, the tape. So, in my opinion, this does not have to be your guys's. I do not think the Lions are going to make the Super Bowl this year. That's just my opinion. I think I'm not going to be cheering against the Lions. Like if the Lions get the 1 seed, I'll be like, I don't care what happens. My ego is not going to get away in front of the path of the Lions. My thing is this though. I think whether the Lions are at home or on the road, they're losing to Philadelphia or the Niners in the playoffs this year. So, my path goes to then, what was my goal for the Lions at the beginning of the season? Win the division, win a playoff game. If the Lions win a playoff game in the wild card round, okay, to your guys' point, yes, the path to the Super Bowl is harder, but I think the path to the Super Bowl stops at the NFC Championship for the Lions. So if something goes wrong, I want that guaranteed playoff win.
Okay,
I don't think.
So I want to ask you this.
Hold on, let me recap. Let me. I got 30 more seconds, and I'll hear you guys out. I don't think, regardless if, and I agree with you guys that San Francisco and Philadelphia are much harder to play than Seattle and Dallas. But both of those games, especially because both of those teams have more playoff experience in the coaching department.
That doesn't get me. Doesn't tickle me.
I don't think any. I'm sorry?
I would say that doesn't tickle my feathers. You saying that, to be honest.
And San Fran and Philly coming in, Lucas. Like, come on, bro.
So basically, Lucas, I just want to ask you a quick question with that. Then, are you saying there's a 0% chance that the Lions that there's no chance on God's green earth that the Detroit Lions can beat the San Francisco 49ers or the Eagles?
I'm not going to say 0% chance just because of injury, but I'll put it like this. I think there's a 100% chance, damn near 100% chance they beat, if they're the 2 seed, which in my opinion they're most likely going to be, I think you can damn near lock up whoever they play in the wild card round. I think you go to the
So you would rather have a wild card than the 1 seed?
Now it's like a 50-50. For where the Lions are right now, in order to avoid disappointment, like if the Lions lose their first playoff game, guys, and I do not consider a first round bye a playoff win. I'm sorry, because at the end of the day, this is a young team that has 0 playoff experience. This coaching staff, 0 playoff experience. The playoff is a whole different animal. You need to learn how to win in the playoff.
Lucas,
I'm
this
sorry,
is the
that's
thing,
just
though.
fact when you have.
But it is okay. I see what you're saying, that you want a playoff win. Like, I feel like that's not like what this is about. I think everyone in I feel like every Lions fan wants a playoff win. Like, that's inevitable. We all want the Lions to win a playoff game because we haven't seen it since '91.
Right, and just like I want the Lions to win the Super Bowl.
But Lucas, you want them to. What's the end goal of every NFL season? Like, when you play,
it's
when you
always
put
to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. So stop real quick there. It's always to win the Super Bowl. When you're playing though. Right. It's a guarantee. I could almost put a lock on it. In the next 4 years, with Dan Campbell and the way Brad Holmes has built the team, they are going to get a playoff win no matter what. Whether it's this year, next year, 2 years, 3 years, they will get a playoff win with this regime. Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you know that you're going to get a playoff win, whether it's this year or next year, whether you get the bye this week and lose in round 2, next year you're probably going to get a playoff win. It's going to happen. You already are getting a division. You're already getting yourself one game. Because at the end of the day, you can agree with this too. I know we talk. You're going to agree with me, Lucas. They skipped a full step. The Lions being 8-2 was not on anyone's, no one said, besides maybe Braylon when he did his breakdown, no one thought the Lions were going to be on track for 14 wins. Not one person besides maybe Braylon and me who picked 13 wins this year. There's no one. They skipped a full step in this rebuild. They skipped a full step. That's a fact. So now you skipped a step. We all as fans and in our head, we have to skip the step to say there's a chance they can go to the Super Bowl. There's a legitimate chance. And it maybe
okay, this is where I kind of.
And when you play football, you play for. You're going for all the marbles.
Hold on. I'm just about to tell you that yes, you're right. But they took a huge step in the regular season. This is a regular season Detroit Lions team we've never seen. The playoffs in the NFL are a completely different animal. Why do you think the teams that always are in this? Why do you think the Eagles always in the NFC Championship, 49ers NFC Championship, Chiefs AFC Championship?
They had to go.
They have playoff experience.
There was a point where they didn't have the experience, correct? Jalen Hurts it was his first time last year, correct?
Their coaching staff, their GMs, the players that they already have, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, A.J. Brown. They have numerous players riddled throughout that whole team. Besides
A.J. Brown, questionable.
And because they win their games at home, Lucas.
A.J. Brown had tons. A.J. Brown was damn near in the playoffs every year he was in Tennessee because that's when Derrick Henry and Mike Vrabel got there.
Lucas,
or when Vrabel got there. You get what I'm saying. The Lions.
I get what you're saying, but it's ridiculous to say you would rather have just a playoff win than take a run at the Super Bowl when you're in the prime position. And the NFL is wide open right now.
Bruno, what I'm trying to say is I get it. The Lions have a chance to make the Super Bowl. I'm so fucking grateful for that. But if I'm being realistic, if I'm just sitting at the table, I don't think the Lions make the Super Bowl this year. So if they don't make the Super Bowl, which I don't think they will, I would be fucking cheering my head off if they do. I'll still be cheering my head off if they get the 1 seed.
Do you think that Seahawks, Lucas? Do you think that Seahawks fans, 49ers fans, Eagles fans, I don't know who else am I missing, Broder? Do you think those fan bases are like we would rather have the 2 seed?
No, but at the end of the day, those franchises are a completely different spots.
No, we're right there. We're better than the Seahawks, in my opinion, right now. Even though you lost to them, no. You're in a better spot.
Booner, where were the Seahawks last year?
Well, they almost got the Lions a playoffs game.
And the year before that?
Not in the playoffs.
And then 3 years before that, they were in the Super Bowl. Or not 3 years, but they were just coming off.
Lucas, I love you, but
a fucking dynasty, bro. Like that
I can't hear you say it, but
the franchises are completely different points. The Lions still need, in my opinion, if the Lions want to sustainably build a fucking absolute rock house, you got to get that playoff experience as a bottom player.
You know what? All right, you know what, Lucas? You're going to get the same playoff experience if you play in round 2 than round 1. You're going to play in one game. Like, you're going to get, like, what? You get another you get a loss on your hands if you play in round 2 and 1. Like, you're still playing in this thing. It makes no sense. Like, who cares about a win or not? You're going to get a win no matter what in the next 2 or 3 years. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. The way that they've been building, it's going to happen. I love you, Lucas. But you know I don't like that take.
Yeah, he's off the line right now. The reason why the best teams, the reason why the best teams win in the playoffs. Yeah, Lucas, shout out for the call. But the reasons why those teams always win is because they're playing home playoff games. And to do that, you have to have that number 1 seed for all roads to lead through Detroit. This is not a question. I'm not worried about getting the one easy playoff win. When you want to go to that Super Bowl, you want every game to be at home. You want Eagles to come at home. You want San Fran to come at home. And Jared Goff usually plays pretty damn well at home. So
I'll tell you what. if Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, any of these players heard these takes of wanting the 2 seed, they would say that is the most ridiculous thing in the world. And any NFL player, any NFL coach, I bet you've listened to any person, Dan Orlowski, any of these big name people who talk about this stuff, if they heard people saying we would rather have the 2 seed than the 1 seed, they would look you dead in your eyes and say that is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Lucas is a ball knower, but that is. I'm shocked by that one.
Like ACDC.
When I heard it a couple weeks ago, I was shocked.
Balls.
That is a great song. We'd listen to it before the show.
Fair.
All right, tell us. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to go over our power rankings. We will knock that out when we come back.
Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. They are the first ever cannabis mall of its kind, conveniently located off Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late until midnight every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Yes, if the Lions get to the second round of the playoffs. Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
How'd you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway?
Would I?
Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps? I gotta answer the second question. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win at drinkcintron.com/Vegas. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste, so you can look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. Win a $100K trip to Vegas today. Enter at drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys all locking in here on a nice Tuesday night. A couple days left till Thanksgiving. Lucas, appreciate you calling in as well. I do. That was a great call, even though I disagree. It was a fun conversation to have. If you guys can, please hit that like button for us. Let's get up to 100. We got 30 minutes left to get to 100. We're going to get into our power rankings, though. I have a big mix-up in mind. Not like you. Actually, yeah. I realized I have 2 big mix-ups. I had someone who fell a lot, and then I had someone come back into the top 10, and a team probably everyone has in their top 10 is out of mine right now.
I'm interested.
I have a guess on this one.
Guess.
Write it down. I want to see if you know. Write both down. Write down the team that you think I dropped down. They're not out, but I dropped them a significant amount of spots, and then the team that hopped in and the team that I pulled out. Because it's interesting. I looked at a lot of different people's kind of mocks and everything and saw what they had, and I was like, I don't know right now if I can put these teams in there.
So, game strong though.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
No, you go first. Do it.
All right, Jalen. Whenever you're ready, if you have that was wicked.
Oh,
what happened?
Whoa!
What'd you do?
It went back and forth a couple times.
I like that.
V-Mix just had a remix. All right.
Oh.
All right.
Welcome to Atlanta Remix. Hey.
Here's mine. Shocking.
Booners Bills are back in the top 10.
The Bills.
That's the one.
Bills had a huge
bad take.
Huge win. Hey,
I'm kidding. I'm Brandon Katz.
Brandon Katz, shout out. They did beat the Jets 32-26. I know it was the Jets. I know they just got rid of their quarterback, put him as a third stringer. But I still think 6-5. I think we can all agree when this Bills team is going, they can still have the potential to be one of the best in the NFL.
They're on my just missed the cut.
It's like a top 5 team though, with like all these players that just can't figure it out. In a game like this, when they figure it out, I had to put them in there. The team I knocked out, you see their honorable mention, that first team there.
Texans, interesting.
Houston Texans.
Interesting.
And the reason I did it, I looked at both of their wins. One team's 6-4 and the other 6-5. Houston Texans beat the Cardinals in a 1-possession game. And the Bills beat the Jets in like 4-possession game. Like they dominated.
Yeah.
And that was kind of and that was where I kind of went. I was like, what team has more talent? Who's better? I still believe in this Bills team. I know it's going to take a miracle for them to kind of bounce back, but I still think they're one of the best teams in football. Number 9, I had them last week. I actually had the Browns at number 6.
Did you went back after beating the Steelers in an ugly game?
Yeah, because if you didn't notice, basically every single team in my top 10 last week won their game, besides one team, which was the Chiefs. So it was hard. I had to move kind of how I felt these teams played. The ugly win versus Steelers dropped them a little bit, so I put them at 9. At number 8, I had them at 8 last week. They beat the Raiders 20-13. I kept them there. You saw the Lions dominate the Raiders. And I felt like the Dolphins didn't really kind of come close to what the Lions did to the Raiders. Yeah. So that's kind of where I still had them out there at 8. There's something about that team. They're explosive. They have players. They just don't.
I've never been a huge Jalen Ramsey guy, like to think he's as good as he is, as he's talked about. But he's proven to be a difference maker for that defense. And if their defense figures it out, I know they haven't beaten anybody yet, but if their defense figures it out, they're dangerous.
And then if you see there, I have the Dallas Cowboys at number 7. Last week I had them at 7 as well. They won last week. They've won this week. I just didn't want to move them at all. Didn't want to move the Cowboys. They had a big win versus the Panthers. Panthers aren't really much to I keep saying it, tickle my feathers.
Ooh, tickle you.
Tickle me. You know, they didn't do anything to me. Number 6, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I moved them up from number 9 to 6. That was the team that I had jump. They beat the Titans by 20 points. I feel like that the Titans, I know they're not great. I feel like that's a good win, though, over the Titans. That's better to me than the Steelers and the Raiders and the Panthers. So I did jump the Jaguars. Number 5, this is the shocking one. I don't know if Nick wrote this one down, but this is the team that last week I had them at number 2 above the Detroit Lions. That loss dropped them down to me. And I know it was a close game versus the number 1 team in the NFL.
Question marks on offense, even with Patrick Mahomes.
That was ugly. Yeah. That was very ugly to me.
I thought they'd be even lower.
Yeah, you just had so many chances to win that game, and a good team wins that game. And they just did not do it. They could not figure it out. It was turnovers. It was fumble. It was everything.
And off of bye week. I didn't put
Andy Reid is always great off of bye. I don't know.
Like in
Flannel and I'm pretty sure Flannel and Jeff had them at number 3, so they still had them pretty high. Number 4, kept the Ravens. They were at 4 last week. Oh no, they're at 5 last week. I moved them up 1 spot. Obviously bringing the Chiefs back. Same with the 49ers. I moved them up 1 spot. They were number 4 last week. Shocking though, number 2 team in the NFL right now.
The Detroit Lions.
I don't want to put the 49ers ahead of them yet. I think they beat the Chiefs. I'm going to go there. I'm going to say they're ahead of them over the Ravens. I know that they lost to the Ravens, but 8-3, 8-2. I just think the Ravens, kind of the losses they have, and then obviously number 1. I think everyone. It's a consensus.
The Philadelphia Eagles consensus. Yeah,
number 1
well
overall
done
team.
I like your list.
Thank you.
Ours are different.
I was really worried people were going to go at me because dropping the Chiefs and then moving out the Texans.
It's not like you dropped the Chiefs down to the 10 or out of the top 10. Like they're number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to run into the Chiefs. I'd prefer not to play them in what would be the Super Bowl. But that doesn't mean they haven't.
I think you could beat the Chiefs.
They haven't looked good.
No, they're not. They don't scare me that much.
They haven't looked good.
We had
other than your Bills edition, we have the same teams, just a different order and a lot different. Jalen, if you want to throw mine up there real quick, we'll do a little compare.
I sure can.
A little compare and contrast, Mr. Jalen.
I sure can.
Let's see it.
Away.
CEO. Here we go. Behold, my Week 12 NFL Power Rankings. So I do have the Houston Texans at number 10.
Behold.
What was that?
Behold.
Yeah, they were my number 10 team last week. They beat the Cardinals by 5 points, so they're just going to stay right there. Jacksonville Jaguars also staying put. They beat the Titans 34-14. But I had more of a problem putting them ahead of some other teams than I did thinking that they should be higher, because I have no problem with where you have them on your list. But they beat the Titans. They took care of business. I need to see a little more consistency to trust them. Cleveland Browns, number 8. When I first did it, my rough draft, I think I had them as high as number 5, maybe number 6. I put them at number 8. They beat the Steelers 13-10. It's ugly. I do like Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I'm not sold on him at the NFL level yet. He's got some magic to him, got some Dobbs magic, but that defense is so freaking good.
Can I make this point better too for us?
Maybe.
Because I have them at 9. It's just like they played a Steelers team who their offense has been struggling. They just fired Matt Canada, and you only won 13-10. Like, you know what I mean? Like, one of the worst offenses in the league, it feels like, and you've barely stuck out. And then you have the backup. You have DTR going like.
But they have of all these. They have
if
a
they
legitimate.
had Deshaun Watson, they would be 6 to me. They would be up there.
They probably have maybe the one player in the league at this point on defense that you could consider for MVP.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, so I'm throwing that in there on the scale a little bit, but I 100% get what you're saying. I don't trust that offense. Miami Dolphins at number 7. Where did I have them last week? I had them at number 7 last week. They're just going to stay right there. Again, I told you I like what I'm seeing out of Jalen Ramsey. Dallas Cowboys at number 6. This is up from number 8. I don't like the Cowboys, but I can't not give them their props when they take care of business. And again, it was the Panthers, but since that Cardinals game early in the year, they're taking care of business. Kansas City Chiefs, this is my team, number 5. I move them down from 4. So they lost to the Eagles. I'm going to put them as your number 5 team. And I'm going to bump the 49ers ahead of them. 49ers look the part. When they're healthy, though, the Niners look as good as anybody. But we'll see if they can stay healthy. Detroit Lions at number 3. Actually, my top 3 are the same as last week.
See, that's where I think I lost you just a little bit.
That's fair.
I think it's fair, but I just think with the Ravens, that loss that they had just a little bit ago there to the Browns, obviously they beat the Bengals, which I think is a big win.
Yeah, and I know Burrow's hurt.
Looking ahead, Burrow, the injury with Burrow, like that's. I mean, they probably actually, if Burrow doesn't get hurt, I think the Bengals win that game. They had control. It felt like the first couple of possessions, but I think. I did take into account Mark Andrews being out the rest of the season. That's why I dropped them.
And I think it's a huge loss for them. I think I just needed to see them lose or see them without Mark Andrews to just confirm. They look so good against the Lions. Like I had a hard time thinking. All right, who's the best team right now out of the Ravens and the Lions? I'm picturing that massacre in Baltimore, and I think that was just my tiebreaker. But Mark Andrews is a massive loss. Surprise! Eagles, number 1.
Eagles, number 1, baby.
Good list, Broder.
I don't think those were bad lists at all.
Thank you.
I think they were good.
All a little bit different.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Who in the chat? Who had the best top 10?
The only thing I'm going to say, I think I disagree with, is just the Ravens that high. That's probably the only thing.
All right.
I think everything else was kind of.
Well, Booner, I disagree with the Bills, bro.
Oh, that was just to 10.
I know. We're not arguing.
We are arguing.
Oh.
Can the Bills make a run?
They can always make a run.
They always can, yeah.
The Bills can.
They're one of those. They have the
frustrating.
Talent.
That's the frustrating thing about them. They can beat anybody. They're as talented as anybody. I don't trust their coach. I don't trust Josh Allen. I don't trust their run game. I don't trust their defense this year.
I don't trust that org as a whole.
That's a good point too. That's a good point too. Hey, I trust their Clippers, though.
The Buffalo Clippers.
Clippers. Wow.
I'm standing on
Josh
that.
Allen.
I'm sorry, Boone. I know that's your team. I'm sorry.
They'll be fine.
Boondogs.
They'll still be in the playoffs. Wild card. I'm going to tell you guys about Big Boy.
Big Boy.
I'm going to tell you guys about Big Boy. It is wintertime in Detroit. It is always better with comfort food from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes. They are back. The classic lumberjack or Santa Fe Garden. Also, the new apple pie hotcakes. They are way too good to miss. Make sure you guys try those out. And top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Make sure you stop over by your local Big Boy today for all of those beautiful meals.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White and Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
When you run a great business for over 50 years, you expand, you offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by opening Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust, located on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Also, their flagship location in Dearborn. You should visit them today. LesStanford.com. Find the brand you want. LesStanford.com.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all of you guys locking in here with us. We just went over our power rankings. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button. We're at 16 likes away from hitting 100. The heavies were at like 125 the last time I checked.
Smash it then.
So if we could somehow get over 125 here before the end of the show in the next 20 minutes, everyone right now just take a minute, hit that like button. Just went over our power rankings though, pretty similar. There was only I think a couple differences there, but let's take a look. We're gonna go into some national power rankings.
Were they kind of all over the place?
A little bit.
Okay.
It depends what your team you're looking at.
I'm excited.
Because for the Detroit Lions, it seemed like a lot of them were all on the same page. It seems like a lot of people had the same feelings about the Detroit Lions. In the past, when the Lions were 4-1, it felt like there was like half of the national media was over here still and had the Lions the top 3. The other half had them still outside the top 5. Now it feels like people are starting to see what this Lions team's about, and everyone's kind of over here on one side with the Lions. That's at least the 4 different power rankings around the nation that I grabbed and put in here. I think
is Petey Prisco on here?
Pete Prisco is on here. We'll do Pete's last.
Petey Pablo.
I think a lot of people, I don't know if you guys are kind of OG listeners to Woodward Nights from months ago, Pete was the biggest rival. And if you guys want to throw clowns emojis in the chat, Pete is the OG clown of Woodward Nights.
He
had the Detroit Lions at like 13th and at like 18th at one point.
And the Packers were at
like 8.
Yeah. After they won, right?
It was ridiculous. It was one of the
He's redeemed himself a little bit. The last couple weeks have been okay.
I think people will be shocked today too to see what Pete has to say. Let's do a couple here though before we get into Pete's. I think there's a PFT one, a Pro Football Talk. Jim, if you want to throw that one up, that one's the big one. There we go. This is an interesting one. Because Pro Football Talk moved the 49ers all the way up to number 2. Lions are sitting at 4. Chiefs moved all the way down to 5. Things moved around on this one actually a lot.
Is that a +2 next to Ravens? Like they moved the Ravens up 2 slots after the Bengals victory?
Yeah.
So they had them jump the Lions. They had the 49ers. So PFT had the 49ers in the 2 slot last week before this win. Interesting.
Yeah,
we got Chiefs, Dolphins, Jaguars, Cowboys, Browns, Texans, Seahawks, Vikings.
They had the Bills at 16 last week, so
I wouldn't argue with that.
All
right. No, it's not bad. I mean, it's just
Lions
got the 49ers up there. Lions at 4.
It's very consistent. Lions in the top 5. Stephen A. Smith today also did his, and he had the Lions at number 5 as well.
Okay.
I do want to see something real quick. The top 5, there's 1, 2, 3 NFC teams in the top 5. Just want to let's look at that at each one. I want to see where the NFC teams are in each ranking. I want to see if there's more AFC or NFC teams in the top 5.
Super Bowl's coming through the NFC.
If we're looking at the top 5, let's kind of start looking at those things. All right, next one here. Let's go to let's see. Is there the Yahoo one? The one with Brock Purdy on there.
Brock, and there goes
Brock Purdy?
Josh. Oh, that's Broder and Booner. It's loading, guys. Yeah, that's all right.
There we go. They have their NFL power rankings. It looks like this is Frank Schwab from Yahoo Sports. Week 12, Eagles number 1, 49ers number 2 over the Detroit Lions. Lions at 3, Chiefs 4, Ravens 6. But look at who's the top 3. NFC.
Look at number 10. This is your boy.
The Bills. Shout out.
Charles Schwab's cousin, Frank, puts Bills at number 10. Hey.
He did. I wonder who dropped out. I don't know.
Probably the Texans.
Yeah, he did.
Props. I mean, Texans or Seahawks or
I just
Bills.
wanted all the people in the chat that were kind of going at me about having the Lions over the Ravens. There you have it.
There you have it.
I'm not that dumb.
Who's next?
Let's see the next one here.
Thank you. Next. It's Ariana Grande. Just so you guys know.
Is it time, Booner, for your boy?
There should be one that says contenders on there. This is Bleacher Report. Do you see that one?
Yeah, a guy named Jalen's on the front, which is great.
Jalen, baby.
Yeah, we love Jalen.
And there's this one.
Cleveland? Oh, my gosh. I said Cleveland number 1.
No, they did it backwards. The Eagles won, as always. Chiefs number 2. There's kind of a theme here going on. A lot of these big time people are putting the Chiefs over the Lions still, and they still have this matchup here at 1-2. And then the Lions again. Just want to point it out to all those people in the chat who said, "Booner, you're dumb." Look at again another ranking that have the Detroit Lions over the Baltimore Ravens. Just throwing that out there.
And the Bills at 8.
And the Bills at 8. So maybe Booner's not that dumb.
Mate.
All right, let's do it. Pete Prisco.
Drum roll.
Drum roll!
Make it a long one, because here we go.
Bufanga.
Pete Prisco! Let's go. Detroit Lions, number 2. Pete, welcome to the dark side, Pete. Welcome.
Frico,
welcome to the jungle.
The brand new Lions.
Got the Cowboys at 3.
No. Look at that. Detroit Lions, number 2. This is the shocking one, too. Cowboys at number 3.
NFC.
Chiefs at number 4. San Francisco 49ers at number 5. I don't want to sit here and, because I know we've called him a clown a lot. And
Not a
gone
clown.
over. This one, he has 4 NFC teams in the top 5, fellas.
Love it.
4. The NFC right now is what the AFC was supposed to be. That's how I'm looking at it right now. At the beginning of the season, it was like, if you would have told me, hey, the NFC is going to have the best conference, if you told me that 3 months ago, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah. When he posts these, does he write about each team? Does he have a little something, or is it just?
I just see the pictures. I'm sure there is an article he has in the past, because remember I read it.
Yeah, you're right.
Before,
because I want to see like his reasoning for putting the Ravens at 8. That's the one that's like that looks a little odd.
I'm telling you guys, and whoever it was in the chat that said something to me about it, I am telling you, this Ravens situation, when you lose a game to the Browns and then you follow it up and you win a game versus the Joe Burrow-less Bengals, and they were winning. They were basically dominating that game. It felt like in the first quarter, and then you lose a game to the Bengals, or you win to the Bengals, and then after that, you lose Mark Andrews. That's where it's like, okay, like,
if you wrote
have
that,
to be a little realistic, and that's kind of how I looked at it. So that was all.
Yeah,
I don't.
No,
think
that's
it was
I just want to
bad.
see his reason. It looks weird to me, but if he paints the picture right, like Picasso tells me it's Mark Andrews, I have no problem with
There's
that.
a lot of reasons to it. That's all it is. It is funny. Wilson said Cowboys. LOL. Yeah, he had Cowboys at 3. That is crazy.
It's not ridiculous. I mean, I wouldn't put him in top 5.
Yeah,
he had a really good defense. John Bland. Shoot, what was the stat I heard? He
has more touchdowns than Devontae Adams.
Yes.
Chris Olave, and damn it, Broder. It's one more major guy that like we all like love and know. But to my defense with the Cowboys, I don't like them whatsoever. But number 88,
CD.
He's hooping. He's balling.
He is.
That number 1 receiver thing. He's getting there. But
silence the Lambs.
They're just hooping now, man. I don't know what it is, but they're just hooping.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing football.
That Week 17 game is going to be really fun, I think.
Yeah.
Is
on
it
the
at
road
home for us?
It's on the road.
Oh dear God.
I just think it's a good test for before the playoffs. 100%. I truly do think that's like a perfect, like everyone's like, oh, the Lions haven't played anyone. I think playing the Vikings on the road and then playing the Cowboys on the road, I think that's a huge kind of get.
Minnesota is
before
still
going
to be a test without Kirk Cousins.
I agree.
100%.
Minnesota, eh?
That's why when we had that argument, Nick, you weren't here Friday, I don't think. When we had this argument where we literally, I said this.
When
Jalen,
you were defending your Vikings,
I wasn't defending my Vikings. I was realistic. I'm always going to be realistic. And Jalen, I think you'll agree with me. Is if the Vikings are sitting there 2 games back, and you end up having to go play the Vikings, and they're only 2 games back, you have to go to Minnesota. Say you drop Minnesota, then you have to go to Dallas and hope to win Dallas. And if you don't win in Dallas, you're going into Week 18 tied with the Vikings. Because, like you said, Vikings, they're not someone to, like, look at what Josh Johnson, they've won, at 5 straight at one point?
They're doing this, too, without, Jay Jettis. He's not playing
will be
right
back.
now. And I think at that time we're playing them like the Bears, right? They suck. But what happened this last Sunday? They came out and, punches in the stomach. They played hard. Josh Dobbs has a chip on his shoulder this year, man. So I think
if out of the playoff picture, they got a lot of players. Like, those teams are dangerous because those players are playing for their next year's contract.
Yeah, but once you like the playoff is out, like you said, they're done. Like, they want that money next year.
Yeah,
they might not have a job next year. Josh Dobbs may not play a snap next year. You know what I mean? So he's going to have that chip on his shoulder for sure.
Just like preseason football, they want to get good film out there for other teams.
He's playing for a contract.
100%.
Yes. He wants money as well. All right, let's go to break. Mailbag when we come back. Before we go to break, make sure you guys hit that like button. But I'm going to tell you guys about Lady Jane's. Make sure you come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience. You can register to win a trip of your dreams, an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It is open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
College student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live this Thursday for the official Lions VIP tailgate. It's at Eastern Market in Shed number 5. It's going to be awesome. How would you like to pregame with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? That's exactly what you can do. We got food, beverages, entertainment, all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com.
All right, welcome back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. It is on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all you guys locking in. Tuning in tonight, Tuesday night. Couple days left until the Detroit Lions Packers Thanksgiving Day game. Broder, are you doing the turkey trap?
I'm not.
There's a rumor that you're running the turkey trap.
I'm not.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
I think it's the truth. I think you should do it.
You will see me live sitting right there while the turkey trot is going on.
What about the parade? Have you been to the parade?
I actually have never been to the Thanksgiving parade downtown.
Nick, are you going to the parade? Jalen, you going to the parade?
Be claustrophobic.
I've been like twice.
If you guys go, can you send me some videos?
Oh, I'm not going this year. I'm too old now, bro.
Yeah, honestly, it sucks because I do have an apartment on Woodburn. And I do not have access to this parade because I'm always either A, at the Lions tailgate, or now I'm doing, some content for Woodward so I won't be at my apartment to watch this turkey trot here.
I just wanted some pictures, man.
Which I'm a little pissed off about, but maybe I can get somebody staked up in the apartment taking some videos.
Get a couple videos. Yeah, I just want to see something. I just, Captain Underpants. I don't know if that's in Detroit or New York, but all right, mailbag. Let's get into it.
Paul Thomas, mailbag, over under Thanksgiving Day game. DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, 2 catches. Does he get 3? Does he get 1 or 0?
In this game Thursday?
Yeah.
I think he at least gets 1. He got a target, and I think it would have been a catch if it wasn't tipped. I believe.
Wasn't it that I'm gonna go 0.
He's gonna get 1. Have faith. Come on, Nick. See, are you a real fan?
Detroit Dabber 313 mailbag. Do you see Urban going to MSU, and how do you feel about it given the transfer portal being so weaponized now?
Ooh.
I like that question. This is totally just a gut instinct. I think he's waiting to see what happens with Ryan Day in this game. If whether it's this game or this season, does he lose his job if he loses to Michigan or whatnot? I think he wants to coach at Ohio State. I think if that job's not there, I think he does coach at Michigan State. And I hate Urban Meyer, but as a Michigan fan, I would be scared to have him coach at Michigan State.
I agree.
I'd be
everywhere he's been, he's won.
He's a damn good coach.
He's won everywhere.
Say what you want about him and his things he does. He is a good college football coach. One of the best ever.
I don't think State's going to get him. I don't think so.
I think he'll get him if I do think there's a chance.
I don't think there's.
Which just suck. Eduardo O'Neill, mailbag. The Bengals 2 years ago were in the same situation that we are in not having a playoff win in forever. Yet they went all the way needing the playoff experience. That argument is flawed. I agree, Eduardo. You do not. If you have a chance, example, Bengals 2 years ago, if you have a chance to make a run to go to a Super Bowl, you do it. Whether you have playoff experience or not, if you have the talent, if you have the players, you go and do it. And that's just a fact. Like, Lucas, I get that. I see where you're kind of coming from. But at the same time, there has been times where it's proven. The Falcons, the Bengals a couple years ago, like, there are teams that have done it. If you're this close, you go do it.
The away fan, mailbag, which Eagle has impressed you most this season? First thing that came to mind, I don't know if you guys are going to like this, it's DeAndre Swift.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually,
no. Swift.
What? He impressed me. I didn't think he was going to stay healthy.
I'm just getting the algorithm going.
Swift. Oh,
Taylor.
like Taylor.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and
Travis
Kelce.
Kelce, Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Did you know his last name? I hope my brother wasn't lying to me. His last name's pronounced Kels, but they've just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah, and I think there's been this thing. I think Jason Kelce said that. Not confirmed or not if he was joking about it, though.
I agree with you. DeAndre's been impressive.
AJ Brown's been the most impressive player. In my opinion.
Brown sold that bet the other night.
He did, but like before this last couple of games,
he's on my shit
He
list
was in top 3 or top 4 for like OPOY.
He's OVO.
Oh yes, he was.
OPOY.
Throw it to 6.
Okay, hot take. This is kind of unfootball related, but are you? And I don't mean to talk about anyone's wives or girlfriends, but are you a bigger fan of Taylor Swift or Jason Kelce's wife? I really like Jason Kelce's wife.
Have you guys watched
that?
Have you watched that
I actually saw.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I haven't, no, but I just saw a video yesterday or today of Jason Kelce's wife, and I was like,
she used to be a soccer player, maybe in college or
she's beautiful.
something.
Yeah, I
think
it was soccer. It was she was badass in the doc, the Kelsey doc on I think one of the streaming services. No free shout outs here, but yeah, she's a legit Philly fan. Like, she was like, Daddy lost, like pissed off after they lost the Super Bowl too. You know, not in just straight wife mode. It was pretty good.
I love when they say Daddy lost.
IT Hips, he said, mailbag, did you guys enjoy Bye Bye Barry? I'm actually, when I get home tonight, I'm going to turn it on. I have not watched it. I think it came out yesterday.
Came out today.
Oh, today?
I think.
I just haven't had time. Yeah, I don't get home until about midnight every day, and then I get up at 5:30, and then I
don't know how you have the energy you do. You impress me, Booner.
I love the field hockey. I do it for the people. I love the people. 5 hours of sleep every night.
Let's go.
Let's do one more before we go. Let's find one more.
Rosenberger. Can
we find one more?
Name that movie.
Can we find one more?
Somebody.
Oh, here we go. Mailbag. I got the Eagles dropping to the Bills, then the 49ers. What do you think? Big Con 51. Listen, I almost want to agree with you on that. I think the Eagles, if they lose their next game, they're going to go on another slump and lose another game because of the schedule they have. When you lose to the Bills, they last week looked good. And then you have to play the 49ers, who have been looking good. I think there's a chance you see them lose 2 or 3 straight these next couple weeks, similar to what the 49ers did. But
yes.
That'll do it. Appreciate you guys. We will be back tomorrow, 8 to 10 p.m. As always, make sure you guys tell a friend about the show on your way out. We're not at 100 yet, so if you guys can all hit that like button, we'll hit 100 here. We would really appreciate that. Helps the algorithm. And when they will look at the show numbers, they're like, maybe we'll keep Booner and Broder on for a couple more weeks here. So if you guys do that, we will stay around. We'll see you guys tomorrow, though. 8 o'clock. Make sure you guys lock in. Love you guys.